Back at 8:44 this morning on Today's Relationships, how to stay married and stay sane in 2011. If you're in a rut feeling frustrated with your spouse, there are ways to turn things around. Here to tell us how to re-energize ourselves and our relationships are psychologists Dale Atkins and Hal Runkel, author of the new book, Screamfree Marriage, Turning Common Conflicts into a Deeper Lifelong Connection. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Hi. And Happy New Year. It is the time of year when you start to reevaluate your life and your relationships. Dale, you look at your husband or your wife one day and you say, is this what I signed up for?
It's very often happens, and as Hal knows, people ask themselves that question, and one of the things we want to know and help people figure out is, if you signed up for this person, what was it about that person that you really loved and was attractive to you in the beginning, and how can you re-energize that? So sometimes we focus on the things that are missing, and we don't think about the things that we have, both in ourselves and in our relationships.
So the dissatisfaction is pretty common among couples.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the deal is, so often we find ourselves thinking that we need to get along well and we need to be comfortable and not rock the boat, and what happens is we end up compromising ourselves along the way and kind of forgetting, those parts of us that made us edgy or made us attracted to each other in the first place, and then that's kind of way we wake up saying, well, what happened to me in this relationship?
And our spouse can really help us kind of redefine and find that again within ourselves. And what I think we need to do is to remember and go inside instead of blame our spouse for losing ourselves. What happened to me, and what do I need to do to kind of re-energize that, and how can I use my spouse to help me find that again?
But I think a lot of people think of marriage as that's where you put aside the me for the we.
Which is one of the big fallacies, I believe, right? I think we need to recover our I in our relationship, represent myself fully to you. This is who I am, and I don't know how you're going to respond to this, but it's kind of like that first time you said I love you to your spouse. It's a risk, right? Remember when you're dating and you didn't know if you were fully going to get the I love you in return? But that was part of the excitement that brought you together. Is I'm going to represent, this is who I am. Now, sometimes that's negative. My wife coming to me and saying, you know what? I don't like you right now. Well, and I don't like the fact that I don't like you, but I want to talk about it because I love you.
And I think that talking about it is fantastic, and having the support is fantastic. I do think, however, that there is there the I, and then there's the we, and how can you become more of yourself with the reflection of your partner? And so many couples are finding great satisfaction by expanding themselves through the eyes of their spouse. So
what does that mean? What do you mean?
You can, like, let's say we're married, and I can say to you, I really never would have done that had I not known you, or I never would have learned that had you not taught me. And because I've done that, I've expanded myself. I've learned something new. I've done something different that I wouldn't have done had you not been my partner. And now that you are my partner, I can either take that and take it to the next level, or I can do something that I love, and you'll encourage me because as a great supportive partner, you want me to be my best self, and you're not going to feel threatened by it because I'm going to include you as much as I can.
You use the word threatened because you feel that boredom and resentment are the two biggest enemies of a marriage right
Absolutely. Or some combination of the two. And usually that's because, again, we shave off those parts of ourselves that we think, if I truly reveal this is who I am or what I want, my spouse will reject me. Right? My spouse won't be as supportive as I want them to be. So I just kind of tuck that away. But every time we do that, we build up this resentment that I blame my spouse for not allowing me to be the full me, right? Even though I'm the one making those choices along the way. And so I have to get past that and say, you know what? I'm totally responsible for every choice that I make. And I'm going to reveal myself to my spouse because I'm not going to let those two enemies, resentment and boredom, kind of take us down. I'm just not going to let it happen.
What if your spouse doesn't want to listen? You say you want to say something, but they're not ready to hear it.
Well, so much of what we're talking about has to do with good communication. So one of the things is that you have to really learn how to communicate in a way that will be effective for both of you and advantageous to move your relationship where you want it to go. So you've got to be a good listener. So many of us are just so busy telling what we want and what we feel the other person needs to know about us. But we need to pay attention to what it is they need to tell us and what's missing from their perspective. So you have to listen. You have to try and pay attention and have empathy. Before the person finishes your sentence, don't start your sentence. Find out exactly what it is they're feeling and go to the feeling level. And also try and talk at times that are that are positive times, not negative times, and remind yourself of the reasons why you married that person in the first place and how you can be supportive, how they've enhanced your life. You talked about boredom and resentment, and most people also want to be appreciated.
Sure.
So if you can show your appreciation for your spouse in ways that are meaningful, they'll probably want to talk to you more.
Even just saying thank you for revealing something negative to me.
Yes.
Right? You know what? I want to hear that from you. My wife revealed to me that I had gotten a little jiggly.
You're telling the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you wanted to hear that.
Well, not right away. Not right then and there, but it's not like I didn't know that. It's not like I didn't watch myself when I brushed my teeth, right? And saw the jiggles. But I wanted to know from her that she felt good enough about our relationship that she could tell. And she prefaced it great. She said, I know this is kind of shallow and petty, but I want to say this to you. At the same time, though, I love you. But you know what? I'm going to reveal myself to you as it comes up. But one of the big mistakes, and you see this too, is we think, well, let's talk. And gosh, that scares couples to death. And said, you know what? I'm going to reveal myself to you, and I'm going to try and find the best time to do it. But I don't need a particular response from you. I don't need you to welcome me. I don't need you to forgive me. I don't need you to thank me. I'm just going to let you know.
Okay. And I don't need my husband to tell me I'm getting a little jiggly.
Yeah.
But other than that, Dale, thank you so much, Hal.
Thanks.
Thank you as well. Again, the book, Hal Runkel's book, is Screamfree Marriage, and it comes out on February 1st.